and welcome to Fox 10 Talks, 10 o'clock in the morning, and this story, holy cow, I mean, hold your breath until you see this video of the desperate, life-saving attempt on the part of, by the way, that's the dad, and you can't quite see the mom there in the distance. But look at this little baby. As first responders get there, they've got the breathing apparatus trying to bring that child who had fallen into a pool, basically bring that youngster back to life. I mean, it's really, it'll almost bring you to tears. It's all coming up today on Fox 10 Talks. Now, also today, by the way, did I mention I'm Ron and she's Celeste?
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Really good,
Hold on
Celeste.
1 second.
Okay, hold on.
Oh,
All
there
right,
we go.
there's me.
Okay.
There's you.
Hi.
Okay.
Hello.
And here is what we call the two-shot.
Oh, wow. What is that?
Oh, this is us playing around with our new cameras. I like that. I like that thing called maximum headshot.
Oh, yeah. Can I lift this up now? Because I felt like a shrimp.
Anyway, we're constantly improving here in our streaming. We have so many streaming studios. I don't know if there's another TV station in America that's more dedicated to streaming than we are. Because if you're watching us on Channel 10, on Fox 10, thank you.
Yes.
But if you're also watching us on Roku or Samsung TV or the Fox Local app or you name it.
Yeah, I'll YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of you are watching on YouTube and you're chiming in on the chat. We'd love to hear from you guys, both locally and really around the world. We have viewers hanging out with us on YouTube.
Yep, we have one established viewer in Uzbekistan. We would love to hear from you today. We know we've got them in Germany and in the UK. Anyway, besides that story, we also have, is the NFL getting itself in trouble for putting games behind paywalls? There were laws put in place, Celeste, 2 generations ago to guarantee that everybody in America could see these games. Well, let's face it, it's the greed factor of some of these streaming outlets, these huge platforms now that are worth billions, and they want in on the NFL. And so Congress is investigating. You're going to hear some of what got said. And then you will see incredible pictures of an aurora from space. That's right. It'll be like you are aboard the space shuttle or something, and you're looking down over the top of the northern lights. It is really amazing. So let's get right to this first story. Celeste, I'm going to roll it. I think we can just talk about it as we watch the video. But the first thing you're going to see, look, deputies pulling up. There's the dad. Over here's the mom. She's got the child lifeless in her arms.
Aww.
So the deputies are running as fast as they can, and then they get that child. Look, they've got that breathing apparatus where they're literally trying to pump air at the... That's what one deputy's doing. And the other deputy is doing the chest compressions. All of this unfolding, this was in Greenville, South Carolina. And so the county sheriff's office said that the youngster was, quote, given a chance to keep living her life story due to the swift actions, the training, and determination of Deputy Jordan Stevenson and Deputy Connor O'Shields.
Wow, what an amazing story. Look at the body camera footage that we have for you, and they're just desperately working on this little baby. My goodness.
Apparently, the child had fallen into a pool. Now, it looks like it's a pretty nice-looking home. I don't know if you picked up on it. At first, it's like a long driveway there. Who knows? Maybe they got an acre of land, something like that. And here, now look, here's the other camera. There's from the other deputy looking as the first deputy goes running along trying to get to the, it's almost like, they use for pets. They call it a Fido bag.
Yeah.
It's a baby bag.
Wow.
And in this case, they saved a life. And I just love the fact that they purposely gave us the names so that we can call them out and congratulate Deputy Jordan Stevenson and Deputy Connor O'Shields. I'm sure if we had them here today as guests, they would say, look, all in a day's work. We're not heroes.
Yeah.
We were called upon, and yet we cover it all the time.
Yep.
Stories like this that are, I mean...
Just unbelievable.
Yeah, it really, it just sends tingles right up your
Well,
spine.
and the idea that these officers were able to do something like this and just stay cool, calm, and collected as much as possible. When you talk to both police officers and firefighters, you ask them, what's going through your mind sometimes when you're in the middle of a desperate situation like that? And
Right.
one of the things that they say is that I'm just thinking of like, let's help this child survive.
Sure.
And they just go into straight survival mode. They've been trained in such a way that they're able just to make it happen.
And it's great training and good hearts where second by second,
yes,
this is a matter of life or death. Because when they
Absolutely.
pulled up, they didn't know, was that baby in the water for 30 seconds or 2.5 minutes?
Yeah,
I mean, it
there's
all
no
makes
way
a
to
big
know.
difference. We are watching closely the deadline for the beginning of July to get the state budget done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Celeste, this is an eye-popping number, but this is what the state budget is going to be this year.
Okay.
I think I have this right. We're going to go to Isabella and check here. 18 billion. This is just for the state of Arizona, for our
Wow.
government.
Okay.
18,300,000,000. When I first started covering news here back in the 80s, I think it was under 1 billion, or it was around 1 billion.
Crazy.
So it is really.
Talk about we just had a state treasurer candidate in here.
That's right.
And he talked a lot about auditing.
Yep.
The state budget and different parts of the state agencies. Imagine having to audit that type of a budget.
I don't even know where you'd start.
Right? Breaking
Right?
down exactly what's happening. It's
Let's
crazy.
do this. Let's go to Isabella because she is breaking it down.
Yes, she is.
She's got the answers. What's in this thing, Isabella?
Yes, hello, good morning. So just as you mentioned, we are one step closer to reaching that budget deal for us here in Arizona. And this story comes in from the Capitol. But just as you mentioned, this bill is going to be $18.3 billion for this plan. Huge amount. But Governor Katie Hobbs and Republican lawmakers say they've reached a budget deal. Again, one step closer to that deal. And this $18.3 billion plan includes tax cuts and money for public safety. So what they're calling it the Empowerment Scholarship Account Program. This is known as a controversial school voucher program. This thing's going to remain in place. There's also going to be a 3-year moratorium on tax breaks for data centers, another big topic that's being talked about all across the state. As of right now, construction for those facilities can continue. And we do have Senate Majority Leader John Kavanaugh. He says the budget is also strengthening eligibility checks for both Medicaid and SNAP recipients, and it also roots out some waste. We know that the agreement does still need to be approved, but we're one step closer to reaching that budget deal here at the Capitol.
All right. Isabella, thank you very much on that. I mean, she
great
really
news.
has been digging into it. A lot of these are programs. You know, the ESA, when Tom Horn was in here, he was saying that more than, I believe he said more than 100,000 families use those ESA funds if their kids, for example, are going to be homeschooled.
Yeah.
They're going to be going to charter schools, that kind of a thing. So it's really, I know that it's a kind of a big and a controversial thing, but they're keeping it in, at least for the time being.
Well, and I think it's important to mention as well, it's used by a lot of families who have children with special needs, whether or not it's ADHD or dyslexia, or they have something else that they're dealing with within their family. And then the family can use those funds to find a classroom or a school that it better suits their family and their child.
Yeah, sure.
So I think in a lot of ways, it gives parents the ability to put their child in a place in which they can grow.
And then what happens, I think, is you end up with a lot of, say, mom and pop operations that say you have your kids, now they're enrolled in online learning, but you want to make sure they get some PE, some physical education. They can go to like a little gym somewhere and they'll work out your kids. So then there's somebody that owns that business. You know, it's really fascinating what's happening in the state of Arizona. Celeste, the experts are out with an analysis of how much people should be drinking their booze. Have you heard about this one
I
yet?
have not. Ron, this is a safe space. Do you need to share?
No, I've sworn off all that stuff, Celeste. But the new research says adults should only limit themselves to 1 drink per day. day. According to a new study, even moderate amounts of alcohol raise your risk of premature death and dozens of diseases, including cancer. They're not included in the new federal dietary guidelines, but they're like, you know what? It's great. You want to do it? You want to have a nice margarita on your way into the house at the end of a long, hard day?
Yeah.
You need it?
Maybe you're just going to go for a walk with the cocktail. Yeah.
Sure. Right. Walk along with that martini glass, Celeste. What would that look like if you were walking through your upscale neighborhood with a martini
Oh, yeah.
glass?
Stop, Ron. Listen to you.
Yeah, you're just walking around. Oh, hello. I could just see that. Now, here's the funny thing, because we try to cover all aspects of every story.
Yes, we do.
And so there is another aspect to this story on the very same day, Celeste, that the study comes out that says, don't drink so much. Look at this. Coors comes out with a new tall boy beer can in case one 12-ounce can is not enough. You're looking at the new, it's basically a 3-pack.
Wow.
Of brewskis.
That's 3 cans of beer.
Correct.
And you get it why it says Coors Light. You get it because when folks score a goal in soccer, when the
what
players
do they say?
goal. I don't want to scream because
Goal, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's brilliant on their part, and look, it says more goals, more celebrations, Coors Light. So
how much is it? Is that going to be the same price as 1 can of beer? Because you're only technically using 1 can.
Yeah, my understanding is it's almost like a sleeve. You put your 3 cans of beer in there, and you just keep drinking it.
Wow.
So it sounds like a lot. But anyway, we're going to see. I predict we're going to see 100 ideas all tied in to the World Cup. All right. Is the NFL in trouble putting games behind paywalls? What is up with those guys?
I don't know.
Wait till you see what just happened in D.C. Celeste, what are we looking at here? What do you think?
Oh my goodness, this is a preview of our mystery camera. And
we're getting hearts and loves.
Oh my
Look
gosh,
at this.
Ron.
Who is it, you guys, that are sending us all those likes?
Thank you.
No kidding. Oh, just as soon as I mention it, it goes away. But, if you're watching on TV or on YouTube, you can see all these comments that are coming through. And look, there goes another couple.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is
Thank you
amazing.
guys. Oh, now it's a celebratory and a happy face and a 100%.
I love it.
Here's the, as many of you are sharing your thoughts on different types of drinks. Some people like to do, some people don't drink anymore. They just is it possible to drink too much OJ in a day? Paul Humphrey asks.
Oh, I would bet.
And listen to Thomas Fabula. He says Cave Creek chili beer. What about chili beer?
Okay,
Is that
you're
like-
giving us a lot of options to think through. I was going to come, but you move so fast sometimes. The orange juice spikes
Yes.
your blood sugar like crazy. I would think it is definitely possible.
Oh.
As a guy who watches his blood
Yeah.
sugar every day, you got to keep an eye on
So
that.
you can't. That means you can't eat too many oranges. But
Yeah.
But they have really good fiber.
We moved a few years ago, and we had some orange trees in our backyard. And I, being diabetic, I could never eat more than even half of an orange, and it's just like straight to the moon.
Ooh, but there's nothing like fresh OJ.
Oh, I totally
Oh,
agree.
so good.
As opposed to that canned stuff. All right, so big story in Washington. They got the Save America Act passed. It's a lot of money, Celeste.
Yes.
And the president just spoke about it from the Oval Office a little while ago. Here's what he said.
This morning, I'm thrilled to sign the Secure America Act to immediately and fully fund the Department of Homeland Security through the end of my term. So we won't have that to be talking about anymore, Lisa.
No, we will not, sir.
We'll give the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol, and that's what they are, they're heroes, what they have to go through to keep us safe, the support and resources they need to defend our borders, protect our homeland, and to keep America safe. For more than 100 days, congressional Democrats tried to block all funding for the Department of Homeland Security in a reprehensible attempt to throw open the borders of the United States of America. They want to drag us straight back to chaos and crime of the crooked Joe Biden administration.
So look how close the vote was in the House. It can't get any closer. 214 to 212.
Wow.
And so, we have seen ICE scale back its operations ever since Minnesota. We had those shootings, and people around the country were really getting kind of outraged about the whole situation. And yet there are a lot of people out there who do support this effort. And it leads us right into our poll question. We have two options for you. One is to grab this QR code right now. President signs a $70 billion funding bill. This was about 90 minutes ago for ICE and Customs and Border Protection. 76% say good. We're finally addressing years of illegal immigration, which is not necessarily a clap back to the Biden administration.
Right.
It goes back many administrations. So that's why I think we're talking about years and years. So 14% are saying I should get off our streets, focus on the border, not on our cities. And then 10% are saying the laws should be enforced, but $70 billion is a ridiculous amount of spending.
All right, let's take a look at some of your numbers on YouTube. If we can, we're going to refresh this for you at some point, but we do have, it's only been posted, it looks like just a few minutes ago. So we already have many
31
votes.
votes. We're used to, by this point, seeing like 350 votes.
Right, but it looks like this is only posted 4 minutes ago.
Okay.
So that's a good
Abs,
thing.
can you refresh?
Okay, so listen to this.
all
President Trump signed $70 billion funding for ICE and CBP. 58% say good. We're finally addressing years of illegal immigration. ICE should get off our streets, focus on the border, 26%. Ron, can we go back to that other poll?
Okay.
I think our numbers are aligning today. We have both on television, or for those of you who are watching on streaming devices on the TV at home. You can scan the QR code there and share your thoughts with us on this poll. And then if if you want to go to YouTube in the chat, you can actually, we have a link there and you can vote on the YouTube poll as well. And on YouTube, you can share your thoughts in an actual comment. And we read those throughout the show as well.
I don't.
Do you? I read the.
Oh, you're saying up there
yeah,
in the YouTube chat.
And Abby will read it, and Big D.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is Big D?
He's in a big streaming meeting.
He is such a highbrow guy. Remember when he was humble when we first hired him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's like in all of these highbrow meetings.
I know.
We don't even know.
He thumbs his nose at us. He's like, "Who are these people?"
You know, next thing he's going to say is, "Oh, we're meeting at the Westin." This is the way it's going to go.
And you know what I say? Only if you're picking up the tab.
Anyway, yeah. So what happens is we have our great crew. We have both Isabella and Abby kind of looking at these comments.
Hey, Abs. Good morning.
I can't quite hear you, but can you hear us okay? All right. Ready?
Hear me now?
Oh, we gotcha.
Got you.
Again,
Okay.
teamwork. Everyone's teamwork here.
Makes the dream work.
Yeah, so update on that poll. We have about 500 votes right now, 38 comments. Jaggy Bomb says the left deported more illegals for $100 billion less and followed the rule of law while doing it, just more waste, fraud, and abuse from the felon. Robert Minor says cities need cleansing first, but border control initiation should be ongoing. And Shadow Kirby says, definitely option B, ICE aren't doing their job capturing the worst. They mostly get the most vulnerable to meet their numbers. So a lot of interesting comments, a lot of different perspectives, and you guys can all just go onto our YouTube poll right now and contribute to that and leave your comment.
Well, you know, we just
Right.
mentioned
Nice.
how we have this great crew, and Dave's in a meeting right now, and we just heard from Abby. We're actually going to go back to Isabella.
Yeah.
Because, Celeste, I'll tell you, I'm a little too obsessed with football, as you well know. But there's been a hearing going on today where people are like, wait 1 minute. How come we used to be able to watch all of our games on over-the-air TV, Fox, CBS, NBC?
And it was free.
And it was free.
If you had rabbit ears, you didn't want to pay for cable. They were always free.
Yep, right.
And
Free over-the-air TV,
and
sure. Yeah.
This is your love language, I know.
So I watched all day because gradually there's been this a creep of greed.
A greedy creep.
Yeah, a greedy creep. Oh, there are all kinds of meanings to that. But Isabella's been kind of keeping tabs on, there was a hearing today on Capitol Hill saying, well, what happened?
Yeah.
We passed laws back in the 60s so everybody in America could watch the NFL.
You know what? These lobbyists have gotten way too involved in what's happening in D.C. And FCC really has to crack down and say this should be free for everyone.
Should be absolutely
have you ever
free.
gone through the situation where you're trying to find a game and you're like, where do I watch? Do I watch it on Fubo? Do I watch it on ESPN Plus? Do I watch it here, there, everywhere? It's
I gotta go watch it on Prime?
Yeah, what's happening?
Why do I have to go do that? Why do I have to go to a bunch of different apps? Anyway, Bella, I know you've been kind of keeping tabs on it. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so as you guys have mentioned, this is a really big deal. Studies have been finding that regular consumers like Ron, his household, they're spending anywhere from hundreds to even thousands a year just trying to watch football. But as mentioned, this is coming in this week. Now, this report released this week by the House Judiciary Committee and its chairman, Jim Jordan, he's the one who's kind of leading this, is taking on the NFL, arguing that America's most popular sports league has been ignoring the narrow guardrails of the 1961 Sports Broadcasting Act and its antitrust exemption while on a journey to becoming a lucrative sports empire. So they're arguing that Congress created the Sports Broadcasting Act, the SBA, to keep games widely available on free television. But of course, we're not seeing that anymore because, as mentioned, there's these paywalls, whether it's Peacock, Prime, and consumers are having to pay more to watch games that were once free.
All right, let's take a listen.
Fans increasingly need multiple paid subscriptions to watch their favorite teams, and survey after survey shows fans are confused and frustrated.
And I support efforts to ensure fans can access their teams without paying a fortune. When sports programming migrates behind paywalls, fans lose access, local broadcasters lose the revenue that keeps their stations alive, and the local journalism those stations produce loses the funding on which it depends.
Some estimates suggest that accessing every NFL game over the course of a season would cost a consumer well over $1,000.
In the college football world, I get 10 broadcast games for free every single Saturday. The market for college football is robust. In the NFL, at most, you only get 4.
This is especially troubling because attending games in person has become unaffordable for many families as well. When fans are priced out of the stadium and games are moved behind paywalls, the public loses twice.
Buffalo Bills, great new stadium opening, $850 million in taxpayer funds. Their very first home game is on a Thursday on Amazon. Most of the taxpayers in the state of New York who paid for that stadium are not able to watch for free a Buffalo Bills home opener.
For a full-blown sports bar, we're looking at anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 of equipment upgrades.
I've called this pattern the billionaire buddy bypass, where the public interest gets bypassed in favor of a powerful few, and it extends well beyond sports broadcasting into a sweeping consolidation of media power that poses serious risks to journalism, to free expression, and to the Americans that depend on both.
Sports is one of the last places where everybody can come together and common experience things. I always say, when somebody makes a winning shot, you don't think about the politics or the ethnicity or the religion of anybody else around you.
What do I tell folks back home that may be watching this today? They send us up here to fix things, and I think that's what people are frustrated with back home is you guys talk a lot, like my daughter says, you guys talk a lot. So after today's hearing, is this going to fix anything?
How about that? The guy is talking about his own daughter. She's saying to her dad, how come you guys all you ever do is talk? Nothing gets fixed.
It's unbelievable. It's really, there's so much truth being preached by some of these people that are, right in front of Congress.
Yep.
By the way, we got to take a quick break, but you guys are fired up about this in the chat. We're going to read some of your comments after a quick break. In the meantime, your mystery camera here is, and throw your guesses on where you think this is. We'll be right back.
Well, Celeste, I gotta say that Troy is correct. He says Missouri. Ron loves Missouri. I hope I love it. I have really not spent much time there.
This is going to be where you're heading to next, right?
This every year now, ever since that whole North Dakota experience, which I fell in love with North Dakota.
Yeah.
I would go back there over and over. But this year I picked Missouri. So later this year, I'll be checking in with you live from across the great state of Missouri.
It's going to be great to see you delve into the investigation in terms of how many people.
Okay.
Justin Lum's going to be interested.
Yeah. Okay. So Justin Lum is going to be riding shotgun with me.
Oh, yes, he
this
is.
whole week.
And you guys are going to dig deep. Is it Missouri or Missouri?
Oh, boy.
Right?
But here's our question. Is this Missouri or Missouri?
I don't know. Paul Humphrey says Vermont.
Okay.
Let's see. Linda Monter says Missouri, but Outlaw Dynamo says Indiana. We've got an Arkansas from AZ Raider.
Okay.
And a Pennsylvania from Thomas Brown. What do you think,
You know
Ron?
what? I want to go Missouri, but something tells me Thomas might be onto something, Celeste. I'm going to go Pennsylvania and kind of go against the trend. What are you saying?
I'm going to go with like a Massachusetts.
Well, if you're going to say Boston, at least pronounce it correctly.
Boston.
Boston. Okay.
Let's the con.
Ready? Here she is, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go.
Okay.
Corydon, Indiana.
Oh, no. Did anybody even guess Indiana?
I think there were a couple guesses for Indiana in there.
That's a good-looking building, whatever it is. Very historic.
So true. Linda Monter says her home state is Missouri, Ron. Maybe you should ask her what town she was in.
Linda, if you want to start scooting me some suggestions of those little hole-in-the-wall places to grab a burger or a sandwich or whatever, go for it.
Boot, scoot, and boogie.
Yeah, and Deborah's like, really? Justin gets to go with you on this trip. And Thomas is like, well, don't forget a bow tie. You guys are amazing.
Okay, so we want to read some of your comments when it comes to this football stuff because y'all are fired up and I love it because it should be free.
I know.
Football should be free.
They have started a wildfire, a political wildfire, because we all just kind of went along with it the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 years.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember, was the first one on Netflix maybe? I don't know. But anyway, now it's all over the place and it's
crazy.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, a big hello to Kimmy Winnie. She said she's back after about a 9-month absence.
Oh, Kimmy.
So we are so glad that you are here.
Great.
Yeah, we're so glad. So many of you are saying, listen to Emperor Ivan, agreed they won't do anything if it lines their pockets. When corruption is expected these days, just in plain sight now. Yeah. Thomas Brown says the answer is simple and will let you discover other things. Cancel all of your streaming channels that cover the NFL. And I'm actually, and I'm glad you brought that up, Thomas. My plan is actually to do a breakdown of all of my streaming channels.
Oh, boy.
And if we're not using it, Mama's cutting it.
Really? Boy, you're putting the word out.
It is on the chopping block, Ron.
Can I bring Kalina on for equal time tomorrow?
Absolutely not.
Your kids. Okay. Hey, we are really looking forward to this next interview because we have a chance. Here's our guest, by the way. This is Dr. Douglas Maready, and we are going to talk about the #1, probably hottest topic in the world of, well, really in the medical world, and that is all these weight loss drugs, these GLPs. Celeste, have really, it looks to me, Doc, like they have made a pretty big difference in the lives of
a lot of people.
Would we be going too far to say millions of people?
No, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of people have really benefited from this. The big question now is, I think, because they've been pretty pricey for a lot of people, right? And a lot of people have actually paid out of pocket for it because maybe it wasn't covered by insurance. Or what are your thoughts on it saying it should be covered by Medicaid or a lot of insurances? We should kind of look at this in a different, from a different viewpoint, I guess, when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah. So I'm actually treating people not for weight loss, but for obesity.
Okay.
And it's a whole different approach.
Okay.
You know, over the course of last 30, 40, 50 years in healthcare, we've been helping people lose weight. But now we're treating obesity as a medical complication.
Okay. So how's it working? I mean, you don't have to give us any names, but on an almost daily basis, do you see people who they feel like they've improved their health, if not their looks as well?
Yeah, certainly. One example, I had this 48-year-old guy come into the office. He said his dad had a heart attack at age 48. His brother had a heart attack a couple years before at age 48, and he sees himself on that same path. He had the abdominal obesity. His triglycerides were over 700, which is more than 5 times higher than it should be.
Oh.
Wow.
His blood pressure was high. And I said, you're on track for that. So we did treatment, and 3 years later, he has none of those factors right now, and he is on track for no heart attacks ever.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Walk us through, if you can, use the word treatment. What is treatment like? Because some people may say, if you're obese, you can control it by not eating. But is there something genetic, or how do you use that treatment to reverse that trend?
Yeah, a lot of people who have obesity try to treat with diet and exercise alone. And of course, we want people to do that, but a lot of them run into this wall. They just can't lose the weight.
Yeah.
And they still have diabetes or prediabetes. They still have high blood pressure or any of the hundreds of complications that might come from it.
Yeah.
So that's where medication comes in and just turns it around for them.
I know you're looking at whether or not there should be greater insurance coverage for people. We'll talk about that in a minute. But have they established anything that sounds almost too good to be true? It always makes me skeptical. Have they established any cons to the pros that you're outlining?
Well, there's always medical complications that can happen or side effects to the medication.
Like?
The most common is nausea, diarrhea, constipation. Those are the next ones in line. And then there's some other things, reflux, gas and bloating. That's no fun. And then a lot of people are talking about hair loss. And actually in the medical studies, that's a pretty small proportion.
Okay.
But we're seeing hair loss as well. And muscle loss, which actually is getting a lot of attention right now.
Right.
But if you do it right, you don't lose more muscle than you should. So it's all about how you do the process on what kind of side effects you might have.
And we use GLP-1, it's kind of an umbrella term, right? And there's a lot of different types of medications under that umbrella, which have different side effects. Is there one in particular that you're seeing in your work that works better than the other, or is it primarily just on individual basis?
Well, each of the medications have a different molecule, and some of them hit different receptors. So one is a GLP-1, one is a GLP-1 plus a GIP. Next year we have a GLP-1 GIP glucagon. We also have amylin stuff coming out. So they all can have similar side effects, and in fact the rate of side effects are pretty similar between all of those medications.
You know, I spoke with the doctor this morning. Sorry, Ron, just this one last. He talked about the fact that it affects dopamine in the brain, and that's part of kind of how it works. Is that what you find as well?
That's being played out some right now, and they're even doing medical studies on addiction,
That's
which
what we
is
were
a
talking
dopamine
about.
response system, and they're seeing some really great response. And in my patients who have trouble drinking alcohol too much or even help with smoking, I'm seeing that benefit, but we don't have hard medical data on that quite yet.
What about the pill that I know they've been working on and I think is finally rolling out here? I'm sure there are plenty of people who are like, I don't know if I want to go through the hassle or the pain or whatever of weekly injections. Is the pill for whichever one of those GLPs that is intended to be the, I guess, replacement for people who don't want shots from needles, is it every bit as effective?
Each of the medications has a different level of effectiveness.
Okay.
So we have like numbers in the medical studies that we look at.
Right.
One of them's a little lower, and it's really easy to take. It's daily. Side effect profile is about the same. The other one's a little higher. So there's 2 pills out, and the weight loss efficacy is a little higher, and the side effect profile is about the same. I mean, they're good options for people who don't want to do the injection.
Yeah. Well, we know that one of the things you're passionate about is to try to get more people to get it covered on insurance. Is that a real problem? What would these cost if you don't have insurance? And are the majority of people not able to access insurance to do this, to solve their obesity issues?
Well, depending on which insurance you're talking about, July 1st, Medicare is going to start coverage
Okay.
if you have certain medical complications, which is, again, going down this pathway of treating it as a medical disease and not just weight loss, right? So if you have prediabetes, you can get coverage on Medicare. Medicaid's not going to have coverage, even though the federal discounts have been passed along or made available to Medicaid if they want to sign up. And then the commercial plans, they're all over the place, and I'd probably estimate that 50% of people with commercial insurance through their employer have coverage. And the rest of them are paying out of pocket. So you're looking at a cash pay price of between like $150 for the pills are actually cheaper.
Okay, yeah.
Up to about $450 for the most expensive injection.
Wow.
For the higher doses.
Well, so for
Big
people
number.
who might have additional questions, how can they reach you? Or you're with, who are you with again?
So my clinic is Forte Wellbeing.
Okay.
Where I do my medical practice, and then our nonprofit Arizona Obesity Organization is where we do our advocacy.
So that's the one to really look
And
up.
so if
Arizona
you want,
Obesity
if you're interested
Association.
if you're interested in having a voice, our website will track you through how to send a letter to your legislator
Oh,
or the
interesting.
governor. You can submit that to them and tell them where you're hot right now, you know?
Yeah. Well, Doctor, thank you so
yeah,
much.
thank you, guys.
Very insightful.
Great interview.
Yeah,
I
good
learned a lot
good
for sure.
information.
Hey, before we go to break, Celeste, we've been promising this for ever since we went on the air. Have you seen this video of the aurora from space?
Wow.
To me, just watch what happens in about the next 10 seconds here as they start to fly over. This is from NASA astronaut Jessica Meyer, who shows these are the southern lights, by the way, not the northern lights, and this was just 5 days ago. She says, as opposed to the previous aurora I've seen, this one danced and snaked its way directly below us, putting on quite a show from a SpaceX Dragon shuttle as it hurled through space.
That almost looks unreal, the way it kind of slithers through the sky.
Yeah, no kidding.
So these are the southern lights.
Yep, there
like,
you go.
Like we should play Southern Nights.
Southern Nights. Oh, that Glenn Campbell favorite, Celeste.
Woohoo!
You're like your own personal jukebox. Okay, got a lot more coming up. Well, we just decided to keep playing it for you all through the break. So for those of you watching on TV, which are thousands of people, we appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube, you just got 2 extra minutes of Life in Space. And I think that was really cool. Celeste, before we move on, can I just ask a question?
Yes, sir.
If it's true that other countries that don't have near as much money, just speaking about like their gross national product, right, that kind of thing, if they're able to fix their subway systems, why can't we? Ready? Roll it. Hold on. I'm looking for the Mexico City subway here, Bri. Mexico City subway. I'm punching VO5. Hold on. Here we go.
Yes, is really impressive.
We're at the Hidalgo subway stop.
Right. So this is inside. They just had a big renovation.
Yep.
And look at what they installed.
Oh, look at that.
A fancy chandelier.
With marble walls?
Yes, marble
walls. And I bet they're doing this to get ready for the World Cup.
They are.
We're welcoming the world.
It's going to be pretty amazing. So, and they even have those fancy sconces that I put up on the...
Oh, that's what those are called. Those aren't just called lights?
No, they're sconces.
Those are that's a sconce right there, Celeste?
It is.
Okay.
One is a sconce and two are 2 sconces.
Do they get to charge more if they call them a sconce?
I don't know, but
you walk into the store and I need a couple of lights to put on the wall. Okay, it'll be $29. No, I was thinking more of a sconce. Oh, that'll be $129.
Exactly.
Come on, we know how that works, right?
The thing is that if you look at subways all over the world, different countries, whether or not it's New York City and in the Big Apple or in Mexico or Japan,
they're awful.
They really don't tend to be that great.
They're really not good at all.
But this one, I think, probably is going to smell like Fabuloso, which I think is brilliant.
Hang on. Let me look around to see who else is in the studio. Dave, do you know what Fabuloso is? You guys were talking about that earlier this morning. I'm like, what is this? Do you know what Fabuloso is?
I have no idea.
Good, thank you. Lean over and ask Brian if he's ever heard of Fabuloso.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, Brian. All right, Brian.
Brian, can I get a thumbs up or thumbs down? Do you like the smell?
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Well, Celeste, what is it?
Fabuloso.
What is Fabuloso?
It's a cleaner. I use it at my home.
And it has a certain scent to it?
It does. It's
like lemon pledge?
It's like a pine sol.
Oh, a pine sol.
It's almost like a pine sol, but it's Fabuloso.
Okay.
Because it's fabulous in Spanish, as they call it.
Yeah, we don't know if the subways in Mexico smell like Fabuloso, but if you go, let us know. So,
You're
Celeste,
a poet and you didn't even know it.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Hey, let's talk about a couple of other things here. We are watching the whole Iran situation. Why? Because on this streaming show, we try to cover it all. The big stories, but also the fun stories, and this one's not fun at all because the president says basically he's getting fed up with Iran. It's becoming more and more obvious, Celeste, that one of 2 things is happening. Either they're playing us for fools, they're talking to us, and then anytime it seems like it gets close, they purposely, through the leaders of their government, launch some kind of attack, like when they took down one of our Apaches.
Yeah.
Or there are, I don't want to say rogue elements, but there are people within the IRGC who just want this war to continue. Why not? That's their business that they're in.
Well, and they're probably able then to affect the supply and demand of gasoline and oil in that country. And so in and out of the Strait of Hormuz, it's crazy. Isn't it like 21 miles long, the Strait of Hormuz or something like that?
I had not heard that number, but that sounds about right.
I think we had an expert and talked about that. And it's like this small channel, fairly small channel, in this small part of the world on the other side of the globe is really affecting how we do business in America.
Here's what's weird. Today, with the president's now saying he's about ready to hit him and hit him hard because it does look like they're just trying to play us. Meaning the United States. But the price of oil, last I checked, was only up $1.
Yeah.
I expected it to be up $10, $12 today.
I know. We're in this.
Who knows what's really going on?
And we're kind of in this really odd time right now. We have the stock market over 50,000, the Dow.
Yeah.
We have gas prices were high for a while. Now they're starting to drop a little bit. I filled up at Costco yesterday for $3.99 a gallon.
I went past a QT. So when I was out last week, I never left the house.
Yeah.
I was literally stuck inside the house the whole week. And then I go past the QT that's up in my neighborhood out there on Elliott Road in the East Valley, and they had dropped, I think, from $4.65 to $4.45.
Yeah.
20 cents in a week.
Pretty quick.
So I don't know what's going
Let's
on
hope
there.
we're moving in the right direction here.
Yeah, let's hope so too. Now there is a new trend talking about moving in the right direction, and we would love to get you guys your opinion on this. This is why this show is so perfect to be interactive like this. So the study says that, or it's more of a trend, that they call them mini adventures, and if you had somewhere. Let's say you had somebody in from out of town.
Yes.
And particularly in this city where we get a lot of traffic issues. And you had a 30-minute radius drive. I'm going to only go 30 minutes from my house. Where would you take them? Now, I bounced this off Celeste. We would love to hear you guys in the chat as well. But I bounced this off Celeste, and it took her 2 seconds. She's like, I know exactly where I would go.
Yes.
Okay, ready? Let's take a look, Celeste, at exactly what you said. What am I looking for here? Number 6, maybe? Nope,
Oh,
wait.
that's yours.
No,
yeah.
hold on.
Is that yours, Ron?
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, okay, this is it.
What is it? What's
this
happening?
is out by you.
Oh, really?
The Queen Creek Olive Mill. So they have, it's probably it's a solid 30 minutes from my house.
Yeah, sure.
I went out there one day. My kids were playing soccer at the Arizona Athletic Grounds, and they all went to like a team lunch, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the Olive Mill. You guys go to team lunch.
Uh-huh.
So they went out somewhere else. I had a few moments of my time. They have a coffee shop inside.
Okay.
They have a restaurant inside in the back of the coffee shop there. You can buy groceries. They have the bottom photo there in the middle is like all their pastas and olive oils. Top right, they have a skincare line. Olive Spa.
What? Really? Oh,
Yeah.
based on the olives.
And I have to tell you that
Okay.
I've used it. It really is very refreshing.
Yeah.
And it's a local family who's grown this olive mill. And then this is one of the aprons that I bought called Extra Virgin.
Okay.
That's what it says on the front of your apron.
All right, Celeste, now keep it PG.
But and here's the kicker for all of you who drive Tesla. They have like 8 or something superchargers.
Oh, wow.
At the station. And so
Okay.
it really is it has become
Yeah.
this really cool spot where you can do a lot of different things, and you can hang there and have lunch.
I bet I live 12 minutes from there, and I haven't gone yet. So
Oh,
you're motivating me.
You should check it out.
Yeah.
Just go have lunch one day, and you can sit out on like the picnic tables. That's where I was sitting on one of the picnic tables
look at
having
you.
coffee.
In your comfy. So this was like a Saturday morning kind of thing?
It was in February.
Okay.
Yeah, like a Saturday morning, and I had my little vestie on.
Oh, it's so great,
Yeah.
Celeste. Okay, so here's what I chose. And by the way, you can keep chatting with us in the chat online if you have a place that's a quick drive, especially if you have somebody in from out of town.
Yeah.
So, Celeste, this I think is my favorite hike right now. And it's out in Apache Junction. And it's called Silly Mountain. And what you can't really see in the background there is it's a hill that's maybe no more than 20 minutes to get to the top of. It's very rocky. It kind of reminds me of Piestewa when you
Yeah.
get up to the top, but it's not as intense of a hike. And yet, if you want to go further, they have another loop and a deeper loop and a longer loop. You can get up there and you can hike for 2-3 hours if you want at Silly Mountain. But you kind of get the gist of what it's like looking back all the way off towards Scottsdale. You can see the McDowell Mountains way off in the distance. But here's my favorite view. Check this out. So from that spot, looking the other direction, people, I think, in other parts of the world would look at this and say, I have got to get to the West. I have got to go explore America. There's the Superstition Mountains, and yet when you're up there near the top of Silly Mountain, see how it looks so Piesta-y? Did I create the right?
Piesta-y.
Piesta-y. Okay. Looks just like it, right? So you have these craggy rocks and, you just have these, you feel like you could reach out and touch the superstitions and possibly predict where the lost gold is. because nobody's found it yet.
That's pretty amazing.
It's
That is
really
so
amazing.
beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. So that is, those are our suggestions. And if you guys have anything with this within about a 30, 40-minute drive of your house and you have people in from out of town, send your suggestions our way.
Absolutely. Ron, can I make this quick recommendation as well?
Of course.
Burger Boy 25 is competing. He's one of our great chatters in the chat box. He's competing to be one of the best chefs on this competition.
Oh.
So you can vote one time every single day.
Okay.
And so go vote for him.
How do you do that?
Vote
Does he
for
say?
Chef Nick. Chef Nick, did you throw the link in there? Or maybe
Vote for
some of,
Chef
I think
Nick.
some of the other folks actually voted because it was Louis Gonzalez who said vote for Chef Nick. Burger Boy 25 is for favorite chef.
Okay.
So,
All right. Let's do it.
Hopefully it's in the chat. Somebody throw it in there, and then we can all vote for him again today.
Okay, Burger Boy. Hey, one more thing before we go. Celeste, you know I'm a little bit of a history nerd. It was on this day in 1752 that one of the great experiments of electricity in our time ever happened.
Okay.
Benjamin Franklin flew his kite. Every school kid learns this story.
Yes.
Right? So he wanted to see about conducting electricity, and the lightning strike seemed kind of dangerous. It's not recommended. But so I just asked our friends over there at Gemini, I said, so what would it have looked like if Celeste and I were there as news reporters covering this event? Ready? Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Look
Are
at that.
You serious?
Come on, Celeste, you with the early version of a camera? And me with my notepad and my pencil?
Always taking notes, Ron.
And Benjamin Franklin with that key. Ben, put that key down. Could you imagine if you got electrocuted out there? That doesn't sound good at all.
Oh, my gosh.
But, yeah.
What a great photo.
Wouldn't it have been great to be in the news biz back in those days?
Oh, yeah. You would have been the journalist, and I would have been behind the camera.
Yeah, there you go. We're like, oh, I got to run. I got to go interview George Washington.
Yeah.
Or Ben Franklin.
Exactly.
Or whoever they, you know.
We'd
really
be like
incredible.
we'd be like the journalism team.
Oh, my gosh.
Breaking the story.
I just want to, by the way, I would hope I would be that dressed up as a news reporter, and I would hope you would have an elegant gown like this as well.
Yeah, and that corset looks like it's pretty tight. A big thank you, Ron, and to AI who generated that tight corset.
For sure. Well, even though that's beautiful to look at, we got to clear out of here because guess who's coming up next?
Ty and Anita are coming up next. Thank you all for watching. Have an amazing day. We'll see you later.
You gotta turn the mics on first. That's how it works.
That's how it is.
Yeah, you gotta turn the mics on so you can talk. We're gonna keep things rolling here on Fox 10 Talks now at 11. Anita will be joining us here shortly, but in the meantime, we have Trenton here. Trenton, good morning.
Good morning, Ty.
Okay, hold on. My cameras are all messed up. We got new cameras.
Fancy.
And that works.
There we go.
Okay, I'm trying to figure these all out. Some new buttons there.
I love it.
I love it too. All right, so this story we're talking about here this morning got a lot of attention, not only here in Arizona, but started to get some national press as well. So let's back up, walk us through what exactly happened, because this happened at a school board meeting.
Yeah, this is in North Phoenix, so Deer Valley School District. This happened a couple weeks ago now during the last board meeting on Tuesday earlier in the month. Well, Kim Fisher, she is a board member at large for the Deer Valley School District, and she has some very strong opinions, certainly about how the district's being run, the superintendent's leadership, and then the board president as well. And during one of the meetings, Fisher says that in a mocking way, she issued a Nazi salute and said, Heil, Heil, multiple times, in reference to the board president, calling him a dictator for his actions, specifically around scheduling.
So this is the video, and you can see her do the hand signal right there. And this is obviously getting a lot of attention, because you said she not only did it once, but she did it twice.
Right.
And we don't have the audio with that piece of video, but she also said the Heil.
She did a couple times, and she is the one who's describing this as a Nazi salute. That's not our interpretation. She had a lengthy post on Facebook after the meeting in question right here, defending the actions, saying that the way that the board president was making unilateral decisions, not including the rest of the board members, acting more like a dictator on par with Hitler. She, after outrage in the district, especially with the Deer Valley Educators Association, the teachers union, and several parents very upset with that behavior. She had walked that back, saying, she didn't mean to cause offense, and certainly related to the suffering of the Holocaust, but kind of the damage was done there with calling it a Nazi salute and admitting it happened and using those phrases. So we had the big board meeting yesterday.
Yes, last night.
Correct.
And so what happened there? Was there more? Did they question her again about what exactly her intentions were and what exactly went through her mind when she did that?
Yeah. So we're looking at footage right now of the protest that happened. It was led by that Educators Association I mentioned. They had a rally to call for her resignation. And then the lead up with the meeting, where it got very contentious during public comment. A lot of parents in the district voiced their opposition to Fisher about, saying this was hateful comments and highly offensive, and certainly disqualifying of the office to lead the school district. We did have the moment where Fisher did address the rest of the board before storming out. I believe we had that soundbite.
Okay, let's play that now.
It is interesting to see that we as a people just never seem to learn. Every dictator has risen to power through manipulation of people. Caesar, Cromwell, Hitler, Mussolini, Lenin, Pol Pot, all used the oppressed people or economically instability to take away the rights of people, then their very existence. The National Socialist German Workers' Party, known as the Nazi Party, started this exact same way. Now, with the communist black fist on a red background as their symbol, the union members who support hate speech and attack on anyone in the community are creating the three-ring circus. Of course, the media is ready to jump on and have a heyday with it.
Oops. Okay. So there we go. Sorry about that. So obviously that was her response, kind of a non-response to her actions.
Right. A little bit of a doubling down there about justifying the comment of what happened.
And you said that then right after that she walked out?
Yeah. Stormed out of the meeting and kind of said, pushing back that she wasn't going to sit there and listen to her comments be misinterpreted. And then you heard at the end there, she threw some shots at the media too, for how we've been covering this. And I did want to just clarify that during the course of our reporting, when we initially learned about this with happening, we made, this is probably going on 6, 7, 8 attempts to reach Fisher for comment. And the best that we got was a text message going back to her Facebook page, just with a lengthy statement, more or less the same of what you heard right there. But we did give her multiple opportunities to talk on camera to explain a little more, and more importantly, to answer some questions with the concerns of parents and constituents in her district.
So obviously all these people are out there protesting. They say they want her gone. They want her to resign. But she's basically saying, no, this is my job. I'm going to stay here. Is that what we're learning? Right. And Arizona law is pretty difficult to remove an elected candidate and official, more importantly, from office. It takes at least 25% of the total votes for that person in the election. Signatures need to be added so that then you can have a recall election. Gotcha. Yeah. What was the reaction from last night from the other board members after her statements, obviously from her original statements, and then her kind of doubling down last night at that meeting? Yeah. Again, they were striking of this was unacceptable of the office and the board, and they felt, at least from what I was hearing from the rest of them, that there's no reason to bring up Nazis, the Third Reich, dictators. All of this was a distraction, but incredibly hateful to a lot of people who are concerned about such talk and the memory of the terrible things that were done. So more importantly, doing board business in the name of the Third Reich, invoking them was highly inappropriate and disqualifying. The big thing they were saying as well was this isn't the first time that Fisher's had these comments. Even Fisher's admitted herself that she's a strong personality and she's not afraid to speak her mind and her opinions. But the board president, the other members say that this goes back quite a while, and this isn't the first time that this kind of behavior has been disqualifying of the office. Interesting. So I guess everybody's wondering what's going to happen next, because she has decided that she's not going to resign. You mentioned that it is difficult once you're an elected official on a board. So I guess my question is, what comes next? Do you think this is something that's going to die down eventually and she's going to continue to maintain her position on the board? Or is this one of these things where it's only going to continue to, for lack of a better words, erupt again, I guess, kind of simmer at the surface there before something else happens? Yeah, that's a great point. Right now, the push is for the constituents in Deer Valley Unified School District to leave the decision in their hands, to collect the signatures required. Again, that's 25% of the total vote from the election, in order to put it on a ballot for a recall election, and then the process of removing her. Again, it's very difficult in Arizona to remove an elected official. And previously, when we've covered this, we actually talked to a civil rights attorney about Fisher's behavior and the limits of free speech, and they were very clear. It was the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, FIRE. They told us that similar cases, public officials can pretty much say what they want as long as it's in the bounds of the constitutions, and more importantly, what protects every citizen from, any kind of reprimand on the government, on their free speech when they're giving public comment. Cuts both ways with public officials, as offensive and reprehensible as we may find it. Let's talk about the folks, because there was quite a turnout last night at that meeting, and obviously, we saw the protest outside of the meeting. What was obviously the sentiment, we were seeing a lot of folks with those signs that were saying that they wanted her to resign. Was there anybody that you saw or that you heard of that was actually sticking up for her? Obviously, this is a First Amendment issue as well that you kind of mentioned. Yeah, no, it was pretty hard to find that. Last night at that meeting, it was a hotbed of people fired up about what she said, what she did. Again, we had the public comments section where people were really, really coming down hard on Fisher, saying everything, invoking Nazis was inappropriate, offensive, and disgusting. And
even that with the public comment, we had that portion, but frequently during the meeting, there were interruptions, there were boos, there were shouts, and again, so much so that Fisher said she had enough at the end and stormed out.
Stormed out of the own meeting. Do we know when the next school board meeting will happen? Because I can only imagine that this might be an occurrence that we're going to be seeing again.
Right. Yeah, we'll have a couple weeks. They'll meet again on Tuesday, and again, I think we're all going to be watching what's going to happen next in this.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon.
No. I was going to ask you, Trenton, while I've got you here, you obviously are going to be back today at 3 with Brian Webb. What do you have coming up on your show?
Yeah, so talking about a lot, but I think what's happening in Iran has everybody's interest piqued. I mean, we were today at the 38th attempt for a peace deal negotiation. It just feels like every day we're waiting for it. Seems like there might be something on the table, and then boom, something happens. And we had the Apache helicopter that was shot down. Those 2 pilots, just incredible how they were rescued too. We're going to be talking with Hal Kempfer. He's a global security expert, retired Marine intelligence officer, about how those drones were used, the aquatic drones. So 2 boats were actually the first time they've ever been deployed at sea. They found the pilots, the Apache pilots, actually parked. They were able to swim, climb on board the speedboats.
Wow.
Boom, go away by
incredible.
drone. Amazing technology.
Yeah, really is.
Yeah.
All right, Trenton, thank you. We're going to take
both.
a quick break. We have more guests coming up.
We have 30 seconds.
Well, I have nothing else to say, so we'll see you.
extra
right.
long break there.
Yep,
Jam-packed
that's
show.
what we're doing. Extra breaks. All right, moving along. We've got our next guest, Anita.
Charlie Minn,
Good morning, Charlie.
how are you?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you were in last week, and I wanted to continue the conversation. You are a filmmaker, and you make documentaries about essentially FBI's most wanted, people who commit heinous crimes or suspects, and you highlight the victim. And in this case, you are focusing on a very local case, Jason Derek Brown.
Yeah, I'm a victim-driven filmmaker, and one of the things I do is I don't mention the killer's name in any of my movies, and I hope the media will follow my lead because I think that creates copycats because a lot of killers want the attention. In this particular case, I have to mention the killer's name because he's on the lam, and that's Jason Derek Brown. There's never a bad time to talk about this coward who shot Keith Palomares 5 times in the head at point-blank range in front of the AMC Ahwatukee movie theater back in 2004. For 22 years now, he somehow eluded capture.
So you were here last week shooting the documentary. Take us through the behind the scenes. What can you tell us? Where did you go? Who did you interview? How are you putting this together?
Yeah, a big thank you to the Embassy Suites on 10 East Thomas who provided us a location and anything we needed because of this case that needs justice. We interviewed 5 or 6 people, mainly law enforcement people, FBI, people from Maricopa County, also formerly Phoenix Police Department who know a lot about this case.
What?
FBI, they don't talk very often, so I was very fortunate to get them. Also former FBI as well. Again, this happened back in 2004, so a lot of people have retired. But I also got current people as well. We also interviewed an individual whose car was shot by Brown the day before the murder. So we're still trying to build the film. I feel like I probably have to return to Phoenix one more time. But for more information, people can go on the website, thecowardfilm.com, which is labeled below me. And if anyone has any tips, thoughts, or ideas, or has something to offer in this case, we would love to hear from you.
Charlie, walk us through why you want to create these films and why focus on some of these cases.
Well, I study victims, victimization, the sociology of victims. I think quite often we see a crime and we just think about the killer. We don't think about families. We don't think about victims. We don't think about the aftermath, people living through trauma and deep, deep grieving. I lost my mom in December, and my life has completely changed. So you never know what people are walking around with as we drive past them, walk past them every day. You just never know what people are living with. Unfortunately, death is a huge part of our lives in one way or another. Family members, friends, coworkers, you name it. People die every day. Here today, gone tomorrow. So that's something I study. We tend to overlook, I believe, victims and families. We tend to zero in on the killer. I wish I knew why. But yeah, I'm here to give victims a voice. Again, I'm a victim-driven documentary filmmaker, and I used to be a producer for America's Most Wanted. So that's where I come from.
Take us back to that day then, November 29th, 2004. What happened? What do we know happened?
Yeah, so Keith Palomares worked for Dunbar, which is an armed truck service that picks up money at different businesses. And that particular morning at around 10 a.m., Keith Palomares was the hopper, meaning he's the one who hops off the truck and gets the money while the driver has to stay in the truck no matter what, which I find to be silly because if your partner's getting shot at, I believe there has to be some kind of an exception made where the driver does anything in his power to save his partner. So Palomares, the Monday after Thanksgiving, which is a huge box office weekend for movie theaters, is the hopper. He goes out, picks up $56,000 in cash from the AMC Ahwatukee 24 movie theater. And as he comes out, he is absolutely ambushed in the most coward-like fashion by Jason Derek Brown, who was hiding out in an alleyway really close to the theater. So as soon as Palomares comes out, Brown pumped 3 bullets into his head. He probably knew that he was wearing a bulletproof vest, so he had to shoot him up high by the head. He shoots him 3 times in the head, and Palomares goes down. And then Brown shoots him 2 more times while he's on the ground to make sure that Palomares is dead. He then takes $56,000 in cash, which was in a duffel bag, and he takes it, runs away. He stashes a bike nearby in the alleyway, gets on the bike. I've never heard of anyone escaping on a bicycle before, and he escaped that way. Police then would find the bike, which was ditched about maybe a mile away, and they got 1 fingerprint off of that bike. And thank God Brown was already in the system because he had stolen golf equipment with his brother a few years earlier. So they made the match, and the suspect is Brown, and they haven't caught him. Again, 22 years, this coward has been on the lam. I think we all have to be more vigilant. I believe Brown is getting help. He just cannot completely do this on his own. He mooches off of people. He's a con man. He's a manipulator. Somebody is helping this coward out. And we all have to be more vigilant. Perhaps Brown every day goes out with a baseball cap and sunglasses. That's what criminals do. They have to live a life like that if they're on the run, is to constantly wear baseball caps and sunglasses. Those are the people we really need to look at.
All right. Well, Charlie, we appreciate your time here this morning. And next time you have another documentary coming out, let us know. We'll be happy to feature it again.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Charlie. Talk soon.
All right, we're going to keep things rolling. Obviously, tomorrow, this is getting very excited. World Cup starts tomorrow, right here on Fox.
FIFA fever.
FIFA fever.
FIFA fever.
That is very true. So we're going to be kind of switching our schedules around here on Fox
Are
10
we?
because it'll be obviously the games will be running. So we're going to be moving things over to Fox 10 Extra for like the morning show, the noon show, things like that.
Okay, that'll be fun.
Will it?
We're going to shake it up a little bit, aren't we?
Shake it up. We are indeed. So we're going to be waiting for our next guest to come online here because obviously the World Cup is such a huge worldwide event and there's a lot of excitement surrounding it.
We will be carrying all the games, most of them. So if you go to our website, there's a QR code. It'll direct you to everything. The schedules are all over the place because the games are being played in so many different countries. So you might find a game at midnight, and then you'll just stay up and watch us at 4:30. You may find a game late in the evening. We had James Torrez on last week. You're back. But we can't hear you. There we go.
We got you.
Okay, I tried.
Good morning from my side of the country. Good afternoon to your part of the country.
Good. Oh, there we go. I told Ty he wasn't here last week, and Danielle was game. But the way we have to start our interview was 1, 2, 3, goal!
There we go.
He didn't want to play along.
Well, listen. It's been a long day, James. Let's
it's only Wednesday. It's Tuesday,
I feel you, Ty. I'm with you.
All right. Well, let's get into this because there is obviously a lot of excitement, and it all kicks off tomorrow. So, what can we expect as we get closer? The countdown is now officially on.
And real quick, where are you? Because you said good afternoon.
I said good morning to you. I'm in Oakland, in San Francisco Bay Area.
I didn't know if they sent you anywhere else.
We are hosting a number of World Cup matches starting Saturday. Come tomorrow, we got the opener, and that's Mexico versus South Africa. It's a rematch of the 2010 World Cup when South Africa was the host, and they opened up the tournament against Mexico. It was by far one of the most iconic matches, one because the continent of Africa had never hosted a World Cup before. South Africa was playing in its first World Cup ever because of that hosting, and hosting gives you automatic qualification. And South Africa scored a goal to equalize against Mexico, and that was super iconic. It's a goal that everyone remembers, and it's probably appearing on your TikToks right now as a bit of nostalgia here. So that'll be a very fun match to watch. And then the rest of Group A, Mexico is part of Group A. The rest of Group A, which is Czechia and South Korea, they will finish off the group and basically our soccer for the day. So we'll only have 2 matches to watch tomorrow, 2 matches to watch on Friday, which include the other 2 host nations, USA playing against Paraguay, Canada playing against Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's something we have been waiting for several years now, and it is finally freaking here.
I know, it seems like we have been talking about this, and the anticipation has been building, and you hit the nail on the head. It is finally here. you guys are kind of close. Wait, hold on. You said you're in Oakland?
Yeah.
So
San Francisco area, yeah.
So are you a host city? I'm trying to get all of my host cities in a row here.
We are. So the 49ers stadium is being transformed into the World Cup stadium. So we'll have 6 matches here.
Wow. So what is that like to be kind of a host city for one of these games? Are folks just pumped?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so our venue is formatted a lot like what you might see with the New England Patriots. So the stadium isn't actually in San Francisco, even though we call them the San Francisco 49ers. They play down in Santa Clara, so that's about 45-ish minutes away from downtown San Francisco. So there are a number of people, I've heard of at least one story, who flew into San Francisco thinking the stadium was in San Francisco. So they have to navigate some of the transit down there. But with that, it gives a lot of opportunity for all of the surrounding cities to get a little piece of that pie. So you've got places like Oakland across the bay from San Francisco who are throwing a bunch of different watch parties and doing a bunch of different activities. San Francisco is probably going to be a hub for where a lot of tourists are going to stay and shop around. And then you have Santa Clara itself, the actual place where the matches are going to be played. They have some hotels, but certainly not enough of an occupancy to hold people who are traveling from around the world. San Jose is the next big city that's right under them. In fact, the largest city in the Bay Area. And they are doing tons of activations just to make sure that if someone doesn't have a ticket to a match, they certainly have something to do. In fact, this morning, as a morning reporter, I was out at this one strip of bars down in San Jose, and they are the only place that I can think of at the moment that is airing all 104 World Cup games in their entirety for the entire month and 10 days.
Yeah.
We have 20 seconds left, James. We have a prediction. I got Mexico going all the way. Yes
oh my gosh.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, and then we got to say goodbye.
That's an eye roll. That's an eye roll more than anything.
All right.
I've got realistically Spain, but USA is going to make a very deep run.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, James. That was great. Would love. Thank you, man. That was great.
Mic 1 on?
Our problem.
Mic 3 on?
Well, the Grand Canyon is one of the 7 wonders of the world. I remember Des being up there many, many years ago doing a story interviewing the superintendent of the park. And he was, this was quite a few years ago, but he was kind of shaking his head saying 2/3 of the people who live 4 hours away from us in the valley have never been to the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
And it really did kind of blow my mind. And so, it is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, and that's a great view from right there on the south rim, looking all the way across. And that is some pretty impressive hiking, that's for sure.
Oh, I haven't hiked it yet.
Okay.
I would love to hike it, but we've gone to see it twice now.
Oh.
We took D3 when he was a baby.
Okay.
And he was, pandemic baby. So it was like the perfect opportunity to get outdoors, do something.
Sure.
So then, of course, I was obligated to take the twins. And we still have yet to take Demi. I'm like, we need to hurry up and get there, or else she's still kind of a baby.
It's part of indoctrinating all children to being
exactly.
Arizonans.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful sight. But yeah, it's on my bucket list to try to hike it one day.
Yeah. Well, so what I did was rafted. Yeah, I rafted, and I did it for a news story. And the boss is like, "Hey, what about this?" I'm like, "I'm on board."
We should revisit that. I'll go.
Okay.
Let's do it
we
again.
put in at Lee's Ferry, and we did 3 days of rafting, and then we got out at Phantom Ranch one evening, and a bat flew right for my head.
Oof.
And I'm like, okay, this is a different world down here at
hang on a
Phantom
second.
Ranch.
Don't talk about the bat. I don't like bats.
And then the interesting thing is the next morning, I bet they still do this too. They knocked on the door. You just have these very rudimentary cabins. And they knocked on the door, I think, at 5 a.m. because they're like, okay, breakfast is now, or like at 5:30, and we want you hiking out of the canyon by 6 a.m. Because it's so hot down there. People don't realize you might as well be in the valley.
Yeah.
Even though it's sometimes chilly.
Yeah,
all the
you
way
have to
up
be
top.
prepared for that going in, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a chance for us to talk a little bit about this great state that we live in and why we love it so much. But we also have something else we want to talk about this morning, and that's with our guest, January Contreras. How great is this? Hi, January.
Hi. Hi, thanks for joining us. So you're the executive director of the Children's Action Alliance, and we're here to talk about the Kids Count Data book. Before we get into that, just remind folks what the Alliance does, what you're responsible for, and then we'll go into some of the data that was released.
Well, Children's Action Alliance has been here for more than 38 years, if you can imagine, and it was founded by an incredible woman who saw all these lobbyists down at the state capitol for all these other interests, but no one's sticking up for kids. And so for 38 years, we've had the privilege of really advocating for the safety, the health, and the education of children here in Arizona.
So where have been the areas that you feel like have been some of your greatest, not just political victories, but victories for kids?
Yeah. I mean, the whole point is, even though these are political processes, trying to make these not political issues, right? These are kids, and all of us want strong foundation for kids and opportunity. I mean, some of the great areas, even recently, are, this governor and this legislature last year put $45 million into trying to make childcare more affordable for families in Arizona. That's big news. We haven't had that kind of investment for, more than 15 years. We work a lot on the foster care system and in trying to prevent, but also, trying to make sure kids are safe and their caregivers can get by, and especially grandparents and kin that can step in. Last year, we saw an increase in the financial assistance that's available to foster parents and kinship caregivers. That really matters, especially right now when, with costs are rising. We've seen things in healthcare just in the last few years. Again, our policymakers, they came together and they increased Kids Care, which is the health insurance program that's available for working families, those families who make too much for a Medicaid, but they may not have, maybe they have 2 part-time jobs instead of 1 full-time job, or they have a job where health insurance is not available. And so those are some big wins. And so these policymakers that are in place right now, they have some important wins for children.
Oh, that's good to hear. And talk about then what the book is, the Kids Data book, and the 4 pillars especially. Let's start there, of what children need the most in order to, live happy, healthy, successful lives.
Yes. So the Kids Count Data book is put out once a year by the Annie E. Casey Foundation, which is a national foundation. And they're very focused on children and the well-being of children. And how do we put policies in place that help kids and their parents really have every opportunity in front of them? So that book takes, as you mentioned, it has a healthcare section, it has an education section, has economic well-being, and then the community factors. And it picks out certain indicators so that people can just take a look at this book and see what's going on in their state. And then we often break that down by counties so that county community members and leaders can see what's happening there.
Let's take one step back for like a big picture. Let's say that you're the governor and you don't have unlimited supplies, but our economy is doing pretty well. What would be 2 or 3 large structural changes that you would make that could have a big impact?
Well, in Arizona, we have a lot of opportunity to have a child tax credit, for example, that does exist in other states. When we see that child tax credit come into the hands of parents, for one family, that may be they're fixing their car that they've been putting off for a couple months, but for others, it's a deposit for a new apartment, or it allows them to get ahead in some way. So that child tax credit that would be a priority for me, understanding how do we use our resources and put some of that into the hands of parents to meet immediate needs and build a little stability, because we have a lot of parents who are working so hard, but struggling paycheck to paycheck.
What would be your slogan if you ran for governor?
Oh my!
Right? Like really getting you to
start your year right with January. that was my high school.
What office did you hold in high school?
I was our student body secretary.
Wow!
That's so cool. That's perfect. There you go. It's already mapped out for you.
How about it could be something like, look, it's November, but still vote for January.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, that's really great. Now, if people had, maybe they have suggestions or they want to interact with you and all of the great people that do so much good work for your organization, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you? And is volunteering a real opportunity?
We do a lot of advocacy and policy work, so not as much that allows for volunteering, but we have one annual event a year that brings community together. We always are open to volunteers, and we do some work with young people who have been in the foster care system as young adults and work with them to be advocates, and that's another area where that can come into play. So anyone who wants to learn more, wants to take a good look at the data book or any of the issues that we work on for kids, they can go to our website at azchildren.org, and we'd love to connect. There's an email address on there for people to reach out to us, and we're all about citizens of this state, having the information they need, telling us what do we need to be advocating about, and making sure their voice is heard.
Yeah, what do Arizonans say they want the most to see your changes that they need to see?
Childcare is a big one, especially in our spaces. When we go, we traveled we went to 9 counties last year, so we travel all over the state. We hear a lot about childcare because you have parents who it's not what they thought. They didn't think it would cost as much to go to college as it does for childcare. So that's a big one.
Yeah, I have 4 little ones.
Oh, you have 4.
Yeah, 4. Childcare would be double the mortgage. That's impossible.
Absolutely.
It's really gotten out of control. Okay, well, one more time, that website.
www.azchildren.org.
Perfect. Thank you, January.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Hey, before we hit the break, here's a reminder of our poll question this morning. President just signed that big funding bill for ICE and CBP. So if you want to grab that QR code, you can join the conversation. 81% say good. We're finally addressing years of illegal immigration. 11% say ICE should not even be on our streets. Focus on the border, not on our cities. And 8% are saying the laws should be enforced, but $70 billion is ridiculous. And so, Des, YouTube's seeing plenty of voting, too.
Yeah, about 1,300 votes overall here. 51% say good. We're finally addressing years of illegal immigration. 28% saying ICE should get off the streets. 21% the laws should be enforced. But $70 billion is ridiculous.
Okay, so here's what we do. If you're new to the program, we go right to this man. Now Dave, or as we like to, can you hear that echo?
Yeah.
Dave, as we like to call him, Big D, has been looking through your comments, Dave. What are you seeing?
Man, so many good comments. People are really fired up about this topic on fox10phoenix.com/poll, as well as on YouTube. Kuchanu says, to put this into perspective, that's $800 for every family of 4 in the U.S. There's no logical explanation for that kind of money being needed, aside from Trump repaying his donors. And then Deadlined 1833 says, we need better border control. We need to get illegals out. We can't trample on our rights while doing it, though. Really interesting comments. Keep them coming, guys.
And speaking of the interesting comments, how about this one from Lil Philosophy? Hola, Des and Lord Hoon. I like that.
Good morning, Lil Philosophy. Always good to see you in the chat.
There you go. That's a proper introduction.
Yeah, right?
Did I tell you how much I spent to buy 1 square foot of land in Scotland?
No.
So they could call me a lord?
What?
$49.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah. I actually drove out there once to see my land and stand on it.
You found it?
I know, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Totally crazy. Okay, here you go, you guys. What river is it? What state or city is it? This is the Mystery Cam. Give us your guesses. This is Fox 10 Talks. Ron and Des. Des, I'll just pass it along to everybody watching. We sometimes call this the fastest half hour in television. It seems like we just
It
sit
really
down
is.
and in our 30 minutes.
I can't believe that first half went by so quick. There's so much more I want to talk about with her.
Right.
There you go.
Well, so here at this break at 45, we do throw up the mystery cam, and we're getting all kinds of guesses from you guys. I agree. I do think it's somewhere on the mighty Mississippi River. The question is where? Louisiana, says Low Philosophy. Be Kind, says Oklahoma. Linda is saying it's the state of Missouri on the Mississippi River. And we're getting a lot of otherwise just, hey, it is the state of Mississippi. So, I guess I'll go.
I like Mississippi.
You think?
I'll go with that.
You like
and there's a couple of them in the
Okay.
chat, so maybe you guys are feeling confident about that.
Yeah, and I think I will go with Missouri. So we got the two big M states here. Well, there's also Minnesota and there's Maryland and all kinds of M states. But Des, how's it look?
Oh, it's Muscatine.
Iowa?
Yeah, we're not
really. Oh,
we're
that's
off.
much farther north than what we were thinking.
Wow.
Okay, because we use that camera. I
We
swear,
do.
like a
I need
year
to try
ago,
to remember this.
Right?
now.
Okay, everybody.
It's like, all right,
focus
it's got a
with
little
us.
traffic circle.
Yes.
The Brit. Okay, got it.
The traffic
Muscatine.
circle, the cool little building there with the weather vane on top. You have a little jetty sticking out there so the boats are protected in that tiny little marina. Okay, all right. We'll totally forget it within a couple of months. So, Des, this inflation report came out today, and it was pretty, I guess everybody knew it was coming. Because when you break it down, in fact, I think I've got some of the facts and figures here. Just listen to this. So it came in at 4.2%. That's 1 year ago versus today.
Versus today, a year ago.
And I know you're thinking, all right, well, how can we advance the story? That's what we call it in the business here. But the 12-month change in gasoline prices is 40%. I mean, nothing else really even came close. We actually, used cars were down 2%. Medical care, believe it or not, was down 2% as well. But so many other things are impacted by these gas prices.
Yeah, and even shelter, so cost of homes and what we're seeing there increased 3.4%. So that's a big percentage increase when you look at that year over year as well.
Yeah. Okay, so
And
all
food.
What's
Food
that?
as well. We're
Food?
seeing,
Correct.
about a 3%.
Yeah, I
increase in
think
food.
every single item in the food category at grocery stores is up, except for dairy, which weirdly is down about 2%.
Yeah, that is odd. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Eggs had been so high and milk has been high, so it's coming down. Anyway, we thought, hey, let's talk to our buddy. So let's do it. Patrick DeHaan himself over there at Gas Buddy is able to, I think maybe, Des, shed a lot more light on this because we know what's going on in Iran, and it feels like every time the president says we're right on the verge of a deal, they purposely try to drag it out. And so, Patrick, let's talk a little bit about what your people there, what they have to say about where we are at this moment in time and where we might be a few months down the road.
At least for now, Phoenix average price is down to $4.44. That's about a 45-cent drop in the last month. So a nice little decrease here. Most states are seeing prices down compared to last month. And in fact, I think all 50 states are down versus a month ago. But as you point out, we're still about $1 a gallon higher than last year. And of course, comparing this summer to last summer, well, last summer we didn't have the Strait of Hormuz blocked. So I would say the bulk, 100% of that difference compared to last year is because of the ongoing situation. Prices had been declining in the last couple of weeks because the president continually touted the potential for a deal. But now it looks like we're kind of back into the escalatory phase where Iran is taking too long, where Iran shot down Apache over the strait over the weekend. So we may see the pendulum swing the other way, but how far and how much, this is a very, very volatile situation. That's the only thing I would expect in the weeks ahead is more ups, maybe more downs. For now, though, oil prices are up a little bit today after the most recent rounds of escalations.
And how do you see this impacting summer travel? I mean, you know, for a lot of folks, obviously kids are out of school right now. Families maybe want to take a trip, but, you know, this could have a real impact.
Well, it certainly will have a real impact. It will likely cause Americans to dig deeper. Every fill-up is generally $15 to $25 more expensive than a year ago. But Americans, at least in some areas, many areas, only get 3 to 4 months of this summertime weather and the schools being out. So a lot of Americans are just going to dig deeper. They may cut back in other areas, but gasoline demand, it is down only 0.5% over the last 4 weeks compared to last year. So there's maybe a slight impact here, but all in all, I mean, it's not like you can just put your trip off until October or November. Schools are back in session later this summer. So a lot of Americans are going to hit the road, but they're probably going to cut back in a lot of other areas.
I had seen a report today that was talking about sort of the oil reserves. We're a blessed country when it comes to our natural resources, and we have had a lot of oil in reserve, whether it's the Strategic Petroleum Reserve or just other places where you can store it, but that supply is kind of dwindling. Has that actually kind of helped us through these last few months? And are you concerned about whether or not it is getting low?
Well, helped, yes. But to what degree? I mean, when we're talking about the Strait of Hormuz, think of a water main underneath the street. It's all those water mains that deliver water. Now, the strategic reserves are being released at a pace of only 1/20th of what the Strait of Hormuz typically handles. That would be like replacing a water main with maybe slightly bigger than a garden hose. So does it help? Yes. Is everyone getting the same amount of oil that they got before? No. So ultimately that's helpful, but there's a finite amount of oil in those strategic reserves. And by the time the government updates its data next Monday, the new data will likely reflect that the U.S. Strategic Reserve is right now at its lowest point since it was filled up back in 1983. So that's a lever that we've utilized to weather the storm to bring prices down. But once that reserve is drained by later this summer, we could certainly be in a world of a rude awakening if the Strait of Hormuz continues to be closed.
I mean, let's say it gets to that point. Let's say by the end of the summer we get real low. Then and the strait is still closed. What do you predict happens at that point?
Well, probably a bit of a slingshot. I mean, not only is the U.S. releasing our strategic oil, but Japan is as well. Other countries are doing what they can as part of the International Energy Agency. But yeah, to your point, by later this summer, we're going to be in perilous territory here with a lot of those global reserves drawn down. So there's still the possibility that as the summer progresses, the longer the strait remains closed, the more potential we could see record-setting prices. And I know prices have been declining, but again, just highlighting in the backdrop of you filling your tanks up, global oil inventories are still declining significantly every day.
Let's talk about the way it used to be. I think it was when, if I recall, when Paul Ryan was Speaker of the House, he helped to shepherd through some changes that would allow oil that was produced here in the United States to then be sold on the open market around the world. There was a time where that wasn't the case. Should we go back to that? Should we go back to that time where the oil that is produced by the oil producers in this country should be sold really almost exclusively to American consumers?
Well, here's where that happened. In 2015, prior to 2015, oil exports were illegal. Oil companies could not export oil from the United States. When that became legalized, as oil companies could start exporting oil, that gave them more incentive to start producing more oil. Kind of like if you suddenly say, well, you can sell to anyone, a company's going to be incentivized to produce more, to sell more. And that is why the world, that is part of the reason why the U.S. is now the world's largest oil producer, is because the U.S. government and Congress authorized oil companies to be able to do this. If you take that away, suddenly U.S. oil companies are probably not going to have much incentive to maintain or increase production. And ultimately, over the years following that, you'll likely see the U.S. start seeing a declining amount of oil being produced. So, in the long run, that's probably not the best way to keep up the oil production in the U.S. And by the way, the other important measure here is the flow of oil. Because U.S. oil production is kind of new, there's not necessarily as many pipelines to deliver that oil to U.S. refineries. And that's a lot of the reason why some of it gets exported. A lot of it's getting exported because refineries, especially in inland areas, aren't set up to refine more U.S. crude oil.
And we have a question in the chat, Be Kind Forever. A simple question. She says, why are we not drilling our own land?
Well, we are, but it doesn't happen overnight. And with oil prices that were below $60 prior to the U.S. attacking Iran, keep in mind, oil was below $60 for 6 months. It was below $65 for the majority of last year. So only recently, in the last 3 months, have oil companies said, hey, look at the price of oil. Let's spend some of that money on drilling. It takes years for today's increased price of oil to translate into more oil production. It's not like building a house. I mean, even building a house, right, it still takes 6 to 12 months. Increasing U.S. oil production would be like building a skyscraper. It may take 3 to 5 years to completely build that to increase oil production.
Wow. Okay. Well, as you've been talking, hey, James, can you pop up the stock market, pull off Edge 3 and put it on one of my sources like 22, ENG 21 or 22? As you've been speaking, I've been watching the stock market just keep dropping. We're now to the point where we're down almost 800 points. So you talk about all of the different impacts that oil has on the world, but also on the American economy. James, where do you want to put that?
22.
Okay, 22. And so let's just see what it's doing right now. Look at that. I mean, we're at the lows of the day. We may slip back below 50,000. Patrick, you are a wealth of information. Hopefully we can call on you again.
I'd be happy to have that. And yeah, as we see new escalations, oil markets are responding, going